So yeah, guys, I'm going to talk to Arjun Bajaj, the founder of Videotex, the co-founder rather. And hi, Arjun, can you see me?
Yeah, Vishal, I can see you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, good to see you after 3, 4 years. Good, long time.
I I know it's been extremely long.
No, but it's so good to see you. You're looking all nice. We can't see your face, so you just want to get the phone down a bit. Yes. Do you want to
Okay.
place it somewhere? Are you okay with that? Yeah, now you're fine.
Wait.
Okay. Say hi to everybody.
Hey, hi guys. How are you doing?
And this is Arjun Bajaj, by the way, the director and co-founder of Videotex. He has three brands, television brands that they are, and the most popular one being Daiwa, which has done very well on Amazon, and they've crossed more than $10 million in revenues. We're going to talk about that. Arjun, firstly, thanks for coming and
Thank you,
talking
Vishal.
to
Thank you
us.
for having me here.
No, no. What are we going to talk about? How do you save India during the pandemic? We are also going to talk about your business, and we're going to talk about how startups should be resilient in these times. So let's start with you. Why don't you
Right.
give a quick introduction to the audience about yourself?
Well, I'm the director of Videotex International, and Videotex International is a leading ODM of LED TVs, and we've been there in the industry since last 35 years, manufacturing TVs for various renowned brands in India. And after I joined the company in 2016, I started my own brands because we had the complete infrastructure in India
Mhm.
to manufacture a TV and be a cost competitive brand in India. So we went on launching Daiwa, and it did tremendous, like it did fabulous on Amazon
Okay.
and various other platforms like Flipkart and Paytm. We went all the way on every platform, and after that we realized that the offline market is huge. So we tried
Mhm.
to explore that market as well, and we got even a better response than the online market. So we decided to go in the offline markets,
Mhm.
and now we're doing extremely well with the brand Daiwa. So later on, we decided that we don't want to lose the market share in the online, in the online space. So we launched another brand,
Correct.
which is Shinko,
Mhm.
and that brand is doing extremely well. That's a budget-friendly brand, and
Mhm.
suits a lot of pockets in India. And now we've actually tied up with the German brand Telefunken and
Mhm.
taken the brand licensee for Telefunken for smart TVs in the Indian market. So that's a little
Okay.
bit about us.
I want to ask you, being a 26-year-old and making 10 million on a brand like Daiwa, competing with the likes of Panasonic, Sony, LG, all the biggies out there, now OnePlus and all those, Xiaomi coming in. How did you manage
Right.
to create a niche? And you've gone on to, launch two more brands. Do you want to talk about that
Right.
journey when you came back, joined the Videotex business? They were
Right.
manufacturing TVs for others. How did you turn them around into a brand play?
It wasn't actually quite easy as it sounds, but Videotex being a manufacturer, we
Hmm.
were always considered as a B2B company, right? And when I joined, I actually looked at the gap because we could see that a lot of brands are doing well. And
Hmm.
if we have the infrastructure, why not? In the factory, we need to have like a complete production capacity. We need to utilize the capacity. So we decided when we have the capacity, why not launch our own brand? And that's when
Hmm.
I decided and I spoke to the online partners. At that time, online wasn't that popular. If I talk about 2016, and that time online space was also picking up slowly. So I
Hmm.
spoke to a few partners, and that time ShopClues helped me a lot actually to establish the brand Daiwa.
Okay.
And slowly, one then the other biggies, Amazon and Flipkart and Paytm, they realized that the brand has some strength, and then they allowed me to be on their platform as well. So yeah, it's been quite challenging in terms of a lot of challenges initially. Like I was the only person in my company who used to do everything, right from the dispatches to looking at the service calls to looking at the complaints that
Correct.
we would get or the queries we would get or managing the digital space. So I was
Hmm.
like a one-man army, and now I have a team of more than 100 people only looking after my own brand. So it's been a fantastic journey, and since I understand everything, I've seen like right from the start how it actually works. So
You
I've come a
must have
long
been
way.
what, 21?
Uh,
You must have been 21 when you did this brand thing.
I was 21 when I
Okay.
started.
Okay. How tough was it to
I'll be
get the
turning
product?
20. I'll be turning 26 actually this year in November.
Yeah, so you're still 25 then, right? From all practical
Right,
purposes. How did you
right.
manage to get the brand play going? I mean, obviously, the thing is, you Shop Tools helped you at that point of time. How did you
Yeah,
conceptualize it? Did you go to Videotex and say, "I've got these specs, I will manufacture it"? You're a complete made in India, right? Source products from
yeah,
there, but
yeah.
complete IP resides in India, correct?
Right, yeah, yeah.
Do you want to take me through those times?
So, I went up to my father and I said I wanted to do my own brand. And he said, "Why do you want to do it?" So I explained it to him, all the positives that we can get from this brand. And there were a lot of negatives too. But I looked at the positive aspect and he understood and he told me, "Okay, I'll give you like 50 TVs in the beginning. So this is the best I can do for you. I cannot give you any more because I don't know how well it'll respond." And so once we strategized everything, the pricing and the marketing tactics, because that time the budgets were also very low for me. And so I spoke to ShopCruise. They asked me for various pricing, which was quite competitive. And I managed to give them the prices. But those 50 TVs sold in less than 2 hours. So that
Okay,
was
and these
like a
are what,
shock for
smart
us. That
TVs? Smart TVs or ordinary
no,
LED?
no. So these were ordinary LED TVs. That time, smart TV wasn't popular. So smart
Hmm.
TV came later in the picture after 6 months. So
Okay.
this is the normal LED TVs I'm talking about, and those TVs sold out in less than 2 hours. So that's the time we realized that online has a lot of power, and we should do that more. So we
Okay.
went to the other platforms as well, and in the first month I ended up selling 500 TVs. So that was like a big achievement for us,
Okay, what
and
is the
that's when
USP was what? The pricing or was it features?
no, it was the pricing as well as the features because Videotex always made sure that their products are ahead in the market always compared to the competitors. So I remember giving that time a unique feature was USB to USB copy and the
Hmm.
HRDP technology offered by us. So that
Okay.
HRDP technology could enhance the picture quality as
Hmm.
well as the USB to USB copy could allow you to, like put two pen drives and you could copy the files from one pen drive to the other. So
Okay.
these are a few features that really helped us distinguish ourselves in the
Hmm.
market.
Okay, interesting. And has a crisis hit you at all at this point of time?
Absolutely. Like right now, I'm just sitting at home, like trying to up my skills actually and catch up with the backlogs, which I actually didn't never got time to, actually fix when I used to be in the company.
Hmm.
And I think it's a hit for everyone, but India is a strong country, and like the manufacturing associations, we are speaking to the industry. We're speaking to the industry partners how they think the market is going to be
Hmm.
after the lockdown opens, and I'm regularly in touch with my customers and my vendors and our employees. We are conducting meetings every day, trying to improve on the bottlenecks which we have in our company, and making sure that everything is fixed and we are ready once we come back
Okay.
to running the operations. Yeah.
I mean, you're saying that India is resilient because consumption will obviously boom right after, or maybe 6 months after the pandemic, maybe consumption will pick up. But have you got a runway? Because you're a young brand, you've achieved $10 million or close to that in revenues. And do you think, and there's a couple of other brands that you have to. So take me through your plan brand by brand. What is the plan for Daiwa at this point of time? Obviously, all production stopped. But do you have plans that saying, okay, next 2 quarters, maybe we won't do business, but this is what I'm going to do to capture the market when it opens up?
Uh, frankly speaking, we do have a lot of stocks in place right now,
Mm.
and while talking to my partners, my retail partners, the e-commerce companies, and my vendors as well, what we've realized is people sitting at home who don't have smart TVs are actually realizing the worth of smart TVs right now. Because earlier everyone was like, I have a smartphone, I can watch everything, I'm commuting, I'm like this, I'm like that, I don't need a TV. But now what people are realizing is that if somehow it's like, God forbid something like this happens again, or maybe if the lockdown extends, what are we going to do? we can't keep watching our favorite TV shows or new movies on a small screen. So we need a TV, and we need a smart TV so that we can get access to Netflix, Hotstar, all these kind of apps and watch our favorite content. So we are predicting that the market for smart TV is really going to boom once we open up. And once the retail partners and the e-commerce platforms are live, the share of market smart TVs is going to rise, and especially
Okay.
the big screens.
Okay. Between you and the large brands, right? Who's spread thin? In a sense, who stands to lose out the most in this pandemic? Do you think big brands have a lot of stock, and therefore you being a smaller company, you have cash, you can save yourself some money now rather than the large brands because they've already stocked up in the market with distributors?
Right, right. So, with big brands, their overhead costs are a lot. So, because they have such huge overheads, they need to manage everything, like everything possible in the best way. And having these kind of costs actually makes it quite difficult for them to be
Hmm.
doing all these things. And especially in times like this, like a pandemic, they are trying their best to, like meet up with their fixed costs, and they're also trying to cut down on their variable costs at the same time.
Okay.
So I
And
think for bigger brands, it's actually much difficult. But if I talk about smaller brands, it's not easy for them. Okay, for a month or two, maybe they can survive, but later on, employment becomes a question mark.
hmm. Would that be a
How
problem for you? Would
long
that
they
be a
can.
problem at all for you, Arjun?
No, current see, because we are strong that ways, but like we are covered, we are making sure that nothing like this happens. But at the same time, the government needs to make sure that all the conditions that come out and all the rules and regulations that come out, that supports the company too. We do want to retain the employees, we do want to make sure they get the salaries on time, but
Hmm.
there is a limit till
Obviously.
when we can also possibly keep it in our hands.
Okay. Okay. So it's the same thing for large brands or small brands. Everybody's being hit. But in
We
your
are,
case,
yeah, we're all at the same pace.
hmm, in your case, you spend very little on physical marketing, right? You have digital marketing, but not outside, right? You don't spend on TV, you don't spend on radio, but you're a complete digital company, right? It's mostly
Right,
on Amazon that you spend money.
right.
How's your
Um,
marketing work?
so,
Can you tell us?
so yeah, we are promoting ourselves mostly digital, but
Hmm.
at the same time, for our brand Diver, we are promoting ourselves in the offline space as well, wherever we have a presence, and be in terms of radio or be in terms of the in-shop branding. And we are making sure that wherever our presence is there, we have done our branding. But being a new brand, we have to make sure that our costs also, we have to make sure that our costs are also in within our budget, and
Hmm.
we have to make sure that we don't exceed our budget, and
Hmm.
later on that the profit becomes a problem. Or as a new brand, we are also ready to work without earning any profits, and sometimes we have to even sell below cost.
Hmm.
But we want to make sure that we are in that space, and we are dependent on video text. But I want to make sure that Daiwa within this year will be a separate entity altogether.
That's very nice. That's great news too. By the way, for those of you who've joined us, Videotex is a TV manufacturing company, and they have three brands: Daiwa, Inco, and a German company. What's the German company called again, Arjun?
Telefunken. That's a
Telefunken.
115 years old brand. Yeah,
And you've got them into India, right?
right, right.
And Daiwa is the largest in the portfolio today of the three brands, right?
Daiwa is the largest. That's
And the
absolutely
pricing
correct.
is what? Can you tell us about the pricing between the three brands?
Okay, so Shinko is the most budget friendly out of everyone,
Mm,
followed by Telefunken, which is slightly expensive than that, and later on we have Daiwa, which is the most expensive out of those. But all these three brands are budget friendly, having all unique features and competing with the biggies in the Indian space, and I would say having much better features compared to those who are
okay.
charging much
Okay.
higher prices.
Okay. Just let's talk about the features itself. How different are you?
When in India, we were the first ones to actually come out with box speakers to improve the sound. And at
Mm-hmm.
the same time, in our smart TVs, we realized that, a lot of the big brands also are just giving normal remotes with the smart TVs. So we came out with a QWERTY keyboard remote and an air mouse so that the typing and the access becomes easy for the TV users. So
Okay.
these were the two USPs. Later on, we came out with the white color gamut, which like the recent big brands who are doing well in the smart TV space are trying to promote. But we were the first ones to actually come out with the white color gamut with an NTSC level of 95%, which actually enhances the colors of your TV beyond imagination.
Okay.
So that's one thing. Then we infused the soundbar in our TV. We were the first ones to bring out built-in soundbar in our 4K TVs. And now Daiwa is the first Indian brand to launch its own user interface in India and tie up with all the leading apps. And compared to my competitors, we are the one of the very few brands and probably the only an Indian brand who came out first with certified apps in their smart TVs, along
Mm-hmm.
with the free subscription of Movie Box. So this Movie Box allows you to get more than 10,000 movies free of cost and in 16 different languages across various genres.
Nice.
And
So what?
apart
It's your
from
own.
that,
It's your own platform, is it?
so yeah, so no, so basically it is our own platform which we've created and we've tied up with the multiple apps at the same time and given the free content from it.
So
And
it's
so
stock
that gives
Android, and
you
you built on top of it. It's stock Android, and
it's
you
on
built your own UI.
it's yes, yes, that's right. That's right. We built our own UI and it runs on Android.
Okay. And you've got an
And
app ecosystem now. Would you
yeah,
encourage that?
we have an app system for our service. So what we do is we have our own apps for our all three brands. So Daiwa has My Daiwa, Shinko we have
Mm-hmm.
Shinko, and for Telefunken we have a Telefunken TV service app. So what we do is we make sure that whenever a customer has like a query or has a installation request or has a repair request, he can just download my app, fill in a few details, and just in less than 10 seconds he can do it.
Okay, that's interesting. Arjun, I want to ask you this question. How big is your R&D team?
So we have about 25 people in the R&D team.
25 people only, huh? So that's
No,
amazing.
that's only in India,
Uh-huh.
and we have a R&D and a design center in China as well, where we have more than 10 people.
Okay. And do you think,
Yeah.
at such a young age being so successful, how does it make you humble or does it make you ambitious?
Sorry.
Does it make you humble or does it make you ambitious? The success at a very young age. At 26, you practically cracked $10 million. The main company is what, about 250 crore. So
Yeah.
how do you define yourself? These 4 years of great, it's a great adventure for you. Has it been a humbling experience or do you want to be more ambitious?
Actually, I would look at it in a more ambitious way because I still feel, yes, I have done well. I won't, there's no doubt, but there's still a very long way to go. And I think with the support of my customers, our fans, and with the help of Videotex, and with the help of your story as well, we can probably do well in future.
No, you've really done well. I mean, thank you for complimenting us, but you guys are the ones going out there. So what percentage of your sales is online versus offline?
In terms of Diver, we are 80% offline now. And if I talk
Hmm.
about Shinko, we are 100% online. And if I talk about Telefunk,
Okay. I think
can you hear me?
te-
Yeah, we're
tele
80%
yeah, I can
online
hear you now.
and 20%,
80% online. Telefunk.
80% online.
Okay.
And yeah, we've recently entered the offline space. And because we launched exclusively with Amazon first, and now
Okay.
we are entering the offline space as well.
Okay. This is great. What do you make of Make in India? I mean, lot of people might look at you and say
Yeah.
that there might be another company getting parts out of China and just stitching it together, right? But that's not the truth, right? You make everything in-house.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we have a complete backward integration setup in India. So right from
Hmm.
making the motherboards to the cabinets to the bezels of the TVs, and the speakers. Everything happens in-house.
Okay.
So we have the injection molding machines where the bezels are made and the cabinet is made, the back cover. Then we have LCM lines. We have three LCM lines where we assemble the panel. Then we have two final assembly lines up to 65 inches where we can manufacture the complete TV. And for motherboards, we have two SMT lines and the SMT machines are the latest machines from Yamaha and Omron, which allows you to manufacture smart TV motherboards. And now we have a capacity to manufacture 1 million TVs in-house.
Wow,
And we have reached 50, we have already covered 50% of the capacity. And
mhm.
before pandemic, we were actually looking at, covering up the entire capacity within this year. So hopefully by the end of next year, we'll be able to match up the complete capacity and look at more expansion.
That's amazing. That's really amazing. Let's move on to some audience questions before, there's somebody, yeah, there's Alter Ego Reviews, okay? He's a regular on the show, and he says according to 35 years of data gathered, I mean, he says, do you see a decline in the investment in TVs because they aren't as good as phones and are not sustainable for the target audience because of multifunction? You would disagree with that?
I totally disagree with that.
Do you want to tell us why? I think we lost you there a bit. Can you hear us now? One second. I think we lost you there. I think we lost you for a few seconds. Can you hear us? I think we'll wait for a few seconds before he comes back online. Yeah, you're back again. So you want to take that question
Yeah.
again? I'm sorry, we lost you for about 15 seconds.
Yeah. So, can you repeat the question again, please?
The question was, do you think TVs, phones are going to replace TVs because they don't have multifunctionality? And do you see a decline in investment in TVs?
No, absolutely not. I totally disagree with this. And a lot of people have this misconception that mobile phones are going to replace the
Mhm.
TVs. If that was the case, TV companies would be shutting down their operations by now, looking at the
Mhm.
amount of mobile phones that sell. But TV has a huge scope, which is why our investment and our research is continuously happening in smart TVs. And I would like to ask the same gentleman this question. You're sitting at home. What are you going to do without a smart TV? I mean, if you don't
Yeah.
have one, I don't think life is possible without a TV. And TV definitely has a longer shelf life than a mobile phone. But a smart TV in today's age, especially for the youth and people who are at home most of the time, smart TV has become extremely convenient and
Important.
important to access content. And going
Let's look at
forward,
the let's look at the guys who love this type of the content that you're going to mention. Sports, people love large screens, right? Especially the footballers,
abs-
rugby players,
absolutely,
cricketers,
absolutely,
right?
absolutely,
That's
absolutely,
one segment. There's the gaming community,
right.
right? Do you think these are the two bets, the sports and the gaming community, or also general entertainment will move TV?
No, sports, gaming, as well as general entertainment, all three together are going to help TV become more popular in future. Which is why more and more companies want to invest in smart TVs. But it's only the people with the best experience, more understanding, and the best service support, especially for after sales, is who
Hmm.
can succeed in the market. Recently, you'll see a lot of brands have entered in the TV space, but
Hmm.
as per our idea, most of the brands will shut down post this pandemic
The
because
ones
they
that
come out with
the ones that sell online, you mean, right? Or anybody, even
whether
offline.
online or in the offline
Hmm.
space as well, because they don't have a big vision. They see margin in something and they just want to come in and see once it stops doing well, they just want to exit it
Absolutely.
because there's no entry barrier in the TV space.
Hmm. Okay, there was a very big Indian company that sold its TVs too, but then the Chinese companies came and took over, right? And what do
Right.
you make? I'm not going to name them because people in
I,
India are very
I I know
touchy.
who you're referring to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you compete with them? I mean, did they come and say, "Let's tie up together" and all that? Did you ever manufacture for them in the past?
So we were the first ones actually who supplied a lakh TVs to them in India. the
Mm-hmm.
brand you're referring to. And post that, the requirements became big, and at that time we were still growing, so we could only supply them to a limit, and we had to support the other customers too.
Mm-hmm. And why do you think they fell off the market radar?
I think it's the lack of R&D that they
Mm-hmm.
couldn't do, and a lack of knowledge, and at the same time, not moving, moving with the technology is what moved them a
Yeah,
step back.
now they've gone to electric bikes, but that's another story, right? And let's go on to some more questions. If I'm a digital marketing company, and
Yeah,
if I'm supporting brands like yours, will digital marketing be the first cost that you cut during the pandemic? And
no,
or will you invest in digital
absolutely,
marketing?
absolutely not. We will continue investing in digital marketing. We will make sure that we lower down our profits. Anyways, TV companies don't have a lot of profits these days, but we will make sure that we run on low profits and but not compromise on such things.
Okay, great answer. Next question is, you must have worked with Chinese suppliers, Chinese traders, in the early days.
Right,
Tell me about
right.
some negotiating tips with the manufacturers in China, and how did you make sure that you were not completely dependent on them?
I think it's a lot of help has been done by my father as well in this
Mm-hmm.
because he has been a regular to China and he also handles the imports and he's had the experience and that's what I'm trying to learn from him too. And
Okay.
yeah, so working with Chinese, it's not easy because in China you get all kind of things. It's only with the best of best knowledge, with the kind of experience you've had in the past, and what kind of team you have in your company who can guide you the best. And your vendors should be good. The companies you're dealing with have to be good and professional when you're dealing in China. So that has to be really important. That's something you have to look for when you go to China and not just look at the cost. You should actually look at the specs you want and then go for the cost. Is
Okay, say
something
I
I've
just
learned.
landed in say I just landed in Shenzhen, and there are a whole
Yeah,
host of these suppliers and manufacturers, and I have
yeah.
my specs that I want. How do I know that this person or this first five guys that I meet are going to really crack it for me?
I think it's the market that speaks, and I think before you go to China, you should actually do a good survey, and you should actually know someone. And maybe the first few times you'll get knocked down, but I think after two or three hits, you'll definitely know what's best for you.
Okay,
And that's what
so
that's what I've heard from what's happened with us
okay,
in the past few
okay.
years. Yeah.
What would you talk about any product that you sourced from there, based on your experience, where you learned from mistakes and said, okay, now I can find a good supplier for that product?
Initially when LED TVs were starting, a lot of things were dependent on China. And even today, for some raw material, we have to be dependent on them. But now we
Hmm.
are dealing with the best companies there, and we are designing our own products. So
Hmm.
we've done mistakes with the suppliers in the past, but we've made sure we don't repeat those things, and we've made sure we have the best suppliers.
Hmm.
And and the most important thing is how good you want to keep the quality of your product. That's what matters the most because you can get everything, but everything has a price. So you have to make
Nice.
sure that you get a good price. You have to have a good buying power.
Hmm.
At the same time, make sure the specs are the best and the people you're dealing with are the best and trustworthy. So that.
Okay. How does the TV or device industry work, Arjun? I mean, in a sense, we talk about all these smartphone guys who, to capture the market, they sell it at factory price. And, I mean, I've seen the likes of Xiaomi, OnePlus do that in the early
Yeah,
days, to capture markets. How does the TV industry
right.
work in terms of cost? Don't give me your numbers, but generally give me an
Mhm.
industry. How does it work? Just for our audience.
I'm sorry, I lost you.
No, I'm saying, can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so what I'm saying is give our audience a sneak peek into how the television industry works because I've seen the smartphone guys sell it at factory cost, taking a hit on margins in the market, right? They
Hmm.
try to sell it cheaper first and then get the customer hooked on. Like you saw the
Hmm.
OnePlus phones, they started at 19,000, now they're anything over 35,000, right? So,
Right,
and
right.
they had very, very good guerrilla marketing strategy as well.
Hmm.
How does the TV industry work in this case? Don't give me your numbers, give me industry and how it operates.
TV market actually right now is in a very crucial stage because the profits and the margins are extremely low, and with brands like these uh, who have big pockets, they're giants, right? So they can actually burn money. But if I talk about the Indian brands, they are not so big also that they can sustain so much burning in the products when I
Hmm.
talk about pricing. But it's a mix and match of both how well you can have the quality of your product,
Hmm.
uh, where what kind of material you're sourcing and what's the cost of your product, at the same time keeping your operational cost
Hmm.
low. So all these factors play an important role, and you have to actually see the cost of production and the quantity and the channels of sales which you have.
Hmm.
How well you can do there is what everything summed up is what
Yeah, I
makes the
understand what you mean.
TV competitive. Yeah, yeah,
So you're looking at distribution costs, you're looking at factory costs, right? You're looking at the features that you offer, right? Do you think in
so
do you see a world where TV comes on a lease kind of a thing? I see this market where people want to change things very fast, right? It happened with the smartphones. Can I
right.
get a TV for 6 months and then change it? Because, or would you say that okay, you have a screen, but we will over the air upgrade your software and experience, add a developer ecosystem, you can customize it.
So that's what's happening these days. So the UIs are changing, the softwares are getting upgraded because smart TVs are now becoming smarter. Because smart TV doesn't work exactly like a smartphone. There are a lot of challenges. It's a totally different product if I have to compare it to a smartphone. It's not the same. That's a misconception that a lot of people have. But at the same time, what we are trying to do is we're trying to optimize the UI. We're trying to make sure that all the new content comes or a new form of user interface comes into in front of our people, whether they have bought a TV through OTA. We're doing a lot of those things, and I would say not leasing, but in the past, these online companies have run offers like exchange offers, which
Hmm.
were successful. But at the same time, it's challenging for companies like us to take back the product and then resell it. But I think the no cost EMI is a good solution for people to afford big screens.
Okay. Okay, that's a good answer.
Yeah.
But what do you think about? There's a question around how can I customize my TV? Why can you improve the UI for me? You were telling me that you can also fix the software over the air, right? That's coming.
Yeah, right. So that's with our TVs. What we have now is the software which we are giving right now. We keep updating it. Every day you'll see something new coming up because we have an entire team who's looking after that. Even now you'll see every day the content is getting upgraded. A lot of new features keep coming. Any new app we tie up with that comes over the air, and any new things that we do on that, whoever has that UI will get an automatic upgrade to that. So
Hmm.
those are the kind of things we are giving.
Okay, how many app partners do you have at this point of
So
time in your
currently
ecosystem?
we have around 16 or 17 app partners we have tied up with.
Okay,
Apart from
and
that, we've given a TV store as well from where you can download different apps, and you can side download apps as well if any customer wants to download some app
hmm.
in our
How many
TVs.
apps in
Yeah.
total in your marketplace? In the Diver marketplace, for example?
You mean in the TV?
Yes.
See, if I have to talk about the content partner apps, that's we have about 14 to 15 apps for those,
Hmm.
and there are a lot of other multiple apps which for that we've given a app store. From there, the content partners they keep adding, and
Okay.
that's an open app store where the content partners keep adding their store and keeps
Hmm.
improving. So that has a lot of apps,
Interesting.
quite a
What
lot
is
of
the
apps.
most do you guys can you guys tell what is the most watched app or downloaded app on your platform?
So, so all the apps which we've given, like the certified ones, especially if I have to talk about apps like Hotstar, Z5, Eros Now, Geo Cinema, these are the most downloaded apps. Apart from that, Netflix, Amazon Prime, and YouTube, of course. They're the most downloaded
Nice.
apps.
So your consumer is what about in the ages between 23 to 40 or all age groups?
So yeah, so it's between the age of 20 and 36 is what we've seen a
Mm-hmm.
spike in when we go through our digital marketing statistics. But
Mm-hmm.
we've also seen a rise in the age group of 36 to 48. So that's
Okay.
also a good segment for us. Yes.
Okay. Let's go on to the questions. Mom's Desk asked me, what was your experience of manufacturing in India? How did you manage the costs? And were you never tempted to own the IP and shift the manufacturing to China for scale?
Right.
That's a good question.
So yeah, so see, we've been a manufacturer since last 35 years. So
Hmm.
the kind of experience my team has, and the kind of experience and the kind of you know the guidelines and the quality system and the entire infrastructure set by my father for infra and for manufacturing is fabulous. And anyone, like, for example, for me, when I joined the company, I had no idea about manufacturing, but the kind of guidelines, the rules, the quality systems, when I joined in, we had a cloud system. We started with ERP,
Hmm.
and we had all these resources in place which allowed us to manage our manufacturing operations from day to day very effectively. So all these things have to be ensured. Apart from that, you have to really take care of the cost, make
Hmm.
sure that your running cost and your monthly cost, your budgets don't exceed, and your expenses are in control. So all these things together allow us to run the
Okay.
manufacturing operations and expand at the same time.
Okay. Did GST help Make in India? Because, according to me, I thought GST helped in having single warehouse in the country and shipping it anywhere at a single unified tax. But did really
Right.
GST change anything for you?
It did and it did not as well. A lot of things, yes, came in control, but a lot of loopholes were left open, because of which business, yes, did become difficult and easy
Mhm.
in some things. So it's a mix and match of both. I would give it a 50-50 shot.
Okay, so what do you want from the government after the pandemic to support Make in India? Because they have been tom-tomming about Make in India for a good 6 years now. What is
Right.
needed to support the people like you in the SMB segment?
We need more support for government in terms of some form of subsidy for manufacturers who are
Hmm.
actually making in India, because we're not getting something like this, and neither have we got like that in the past when GST came in place, and when Make in India was actually made.
Hmm.
Sorry, when GST actually was implemented in the Indian space.
Hmm.
Can you hear me? Hello.
I can hear you, but there's somebody playing our video on the background, I think.
One second. Sorry.
Is somebody recording you? That's amazing. They
No, no,
are.
no, no. So nobody's recording me. That's actually my father messing with me.
That's nice of him. That's nice of him. So
Yeah.
again, what do you want from the government? Quickly.
So we need some support from the government in terms of we need some subsidiary support from the
Hmm.
government so that a lot of things which don't get manufactured in India can be manufactured in India. Because if I have to
Okay.
talk about my industry specifically, there are a lot of components that do not get
Hmm.
manufactured and a lot of parts that do not get manufactured in India, and we are totally dependent on countries like China. So that is something government needs to look at so that Make in India can actually be improved in future, and we can actually call ourselves Make in India rather than
Hmm.
being an assembly in India.
Great answer. Next question is directly related to this. It's from Sagar, who's a regular again. He says, how do you see the government's initiative on funds allocated to electronics as an industry? Which city do you see as the next electronic hub?
We see Noida, and we see a city like Tirupati in India as the next big hub.
Okay. Tirupati, why?
We've
I thought
seen a
people went
lot
there to
of
pray.
no, a lot of factories have been put up there in the south. If I have to talk about cities like Tirupati and cities like Chennai and
Hmm.
cities like Noida, so these three have been at the top of selection for companies who are actually investing in the manufacturing space.
Okay, so
That's
you're betting on
because
Noida and Delhi.
the ports are also much closer. That allows them to hold on to their costs.
Okay, when you say ports, is it because you want to plan to get into exports, or is it because you can ship components from Delhi through port to
Both
Gujarat
ways. So we
to?
can bring at both ways, both ways.
Okay, okay. So what? So
Yeah,
you're importing from China into these
and
ports.
plus you can feed the country better. See, from Noida, you can actually cover the northern portion quite well and the west portion. And if I have to talk about south, you can cover the southern and the eastern part quite well.
By using the
So
port. Nice.
it's both ways, yeah. In
So
terms of
Tirupati is a
logistics,
good
also
bet.
we have to see.
Okay, that's a good
Yeah,
answer.
Noida, yeah.
Next question is how do you handle as you as a leader in times of a pandemic, how do you handle questions from managers and you don't have clear answers? How do you manage teams during the pandemic?
So we are in regular talks with them. We are conducting meetings. We are making sure that we are working from home. We are giving them their tasks. At the same time, we are explaining them and training them also what needs to be done later on from the information that we are getting from WHO, and
Hmm.
we are making sure that everyone follows the rules and guidelines. At the same time, we're also working with them and doing playing some like some doing some exercises as well with them so
That's
that
nice.
the team's morale is built up
What you're doing everything on Zoom then? Zoom or
on
some other
Zoom,
app.
on Zoom and WhatsApp. These are the two
So
apps we are using.
okay, what a few lessons learned from the pandemic. Do you realize that you can also work remotely as a leader and the fact that your teams can be distributed and only thing is you need manufacturing running which can be automated too. But what's going to happen to people after this? What kind of behavioral changes do you see at work?
I think initially there are going to be a lot of challenges where people would actually be scared while coming, while working. And in terms of people who are less educated, it's very important for them to understand that how they need to work in this kind of environment. So I think a lot
Yeah.
of steps will come in future, and a lot of things will be in place once we open up. And I think these are all ongoing challenges which we'll have to look at.
Okay, there's no definite answers to that. I completely agree with you, but we have to keep
Yeah,
learning. Next question
yeah.
is what this is my favorite question because I don't like the set-top box. I get people calling me and saying, "We'll make your set-top box digital." Do you see set-top boxes remaining in this country for a long time?
They are still there, and they are trying to come up with a lot of new things. I think I would rather comment on TV than set-top box. But yeah, smart TVs because they have the complete content, and people do look at they want a good TV in the house, so that still becomes the the
And it's
preference
and it's
for
and Arjun, it's
any
also because
consumer.
you can choose anything that you want. There's more content
Yeah,
online than with the set-top
right,
boxes, correct?
right.
But when they start offering all these fancy apps like Hotstar and everything else onto the box, right? Do you see that as a competition?
Sorry, I lost you.
When they start offering Netflix, they some of them do, right? Do you see people keep their set-top boxes or say that, look, I can rather do it over my TV itself. Why do I need a set-top box and a separate
Um,
internet, right?
a lot of youth today they don't have set-top box connections, but I think yeah, because whenever I speak to guys who are working in the e-commerce operations, especially these
Hmm.
guys, they've come to different cities and they have different hometowns, and these some of them are staying with their friends, or some of them are staying on rent.
Hmm.
They just wanna have a smart TV in the house, so they actually don't have set-top boxes, but anywhere where you have like elderly people in the house, they still want to look at like the serials, or like the ladies in the house, they still want to see their serials or all those
The
sort of things.
soaps.
They do have set-top box connections
Correct.
at home. Yeah.
Correct. That's a good answer. It'll change over time. Okay, Amnish asked a
Yeah.
very good question. What does Daiva mean? How did that name come about?
It actually means a big platform, and that is something I had at that time, so that's how we came up with the name.
Okay, nice. And what does Daiva mean again?
A big platform.
It's a big platform. Okay. And
Yeah, yeah.
this is Radite, okay, who says, how is Daiwa able to make the same tech at 50% of the price? Same
That's
tech as any
because
other
of
big TVs.
the manufacturing we have, and it's the experience, the knowledge, and the cost control that we have.
Hmm.
It's
That's
all these factors. Yeah.
it's because you manufactured TVs for all these big brands in the past and you understand how they work, right?
Yes, we understand how it works. Yeah. We are doing the
Absolutely.
same thing for them, but at the same time, we are running our own thing. Yeah.
It's funny, right? I want to ask you a leadership question. You manufacture for them and
Mhm.
you have your own brand. Are they okay with it?
I
Are these
can't hear
big
you. Sorry, what
you
is that?
manufacture some big brands, right, with you? You still
Right,
do.
right,
Videotex as a OEM manufactures some brands, right?
right, right,
So
right.
you also manufacture your own brands and some bigger brands. So these bigger brands have a
Yeah.
non-compete clause with you.
There's nothing like that at the moment, because even if I have to talk about China, all these big brands, they are manufacturing for the bigger brands than them. At the
Okay.
same time, they're selling their own brand. So at the same time, we have to see the capacity of the company and the capacity of manufacturing too, and that is something
Hmm.
we have to make sure that's happening during production and keep our
Absolutely.
factory running. So it's
Absolutely. I like the Chinese example that you gave that they manufacture, for example, if in cars, for example, they'll probably have two, three
yeah,
brands of GM, General Motors that they're manufacturing, and they'll have their own sub brands being sold too, right?
yes, yes.
Okay.
It's
And
how
what is
they
your
meet up with their capacity and make sure that the
Mhm.
cost of production is low.
Okay. What is your pricing strategy? Next question. Because you're providing world-class product at half the cost, and how do you study your pricing before you launch?
We look at everything, like the sales cost, the servicing cost, the marketing cost, the manufacturing cost, everything, everything. We have to look at everything when we have to decide a pricing. But at the same time, we have to make sure that people can afford it too. And we
Mhm.
want to make sure that our products have the best of best features and are affordable and suit the pocket of the Indian
Of
consumer.
different consumers. Okay. This is truly a brand built for India, would you say? I mean, for the new India?
Absolutely, absolutely,
Hmm? Okay. Uh,
absolutely.
Ashutosh Sinha says, Arjun, how did you start a brand? Did obviously he says, talk about your prior knowledge of manufacturing TVs. What were the learnings from your father?
Hello,
I can hear you. We can
hello.
hear you. We can hear
Yeah,
you
yeah.
clearly.
What,
We
what
can.
Yeah,
Okay, the
what was the
question
question?
is, the question was, how did you start this brand? Did you have prior knowledge of manufacturing TVs? Did your father play a vital role in guiding you when setting up a brand?
Yes, in terms of manufacturing, yes, he did play a very important role, and especially when it came to manufacturing the TVs and asking him for support
Hmm.
in the initial start. And
Hmm.
prior to this, I was actually training in the same company, in my own company, and getting all the knowledge that I possibly can for manufacturing. So with that help and with the experience of the company, I was able to make sure that we launched the brand and the products very
Hmm.
competitive with the other brands.
Okay. There's questions like, I mean, how much does it cost to set up a manufacturing unit in India for TVs? And are you going to hive off? You said Daiwa is going to be a separate brand by itself in the future, right? Will it have its own
Yeah,
manufacturing line?
sure. Hopefully,
Hopefully, right? But tell me,
yes.
right? I mean, he's asking how much does it cost to set up a manufacturing plant? Don't give me yours again, but how much does it take for a
It's
TV industry if you're making a
it's an
million
endless
TVs?
it's an endless cost. There is no setup cost initially. It totally depends on the kind of manufacturing setup you want. It involves
Mhm.
everything. Do you just want an assembly line or do you want a complete backward integration setup? For a setup like ours, it's been over the years. It's not just something we've done it at once. We have
Okay.
started from a very small unit and to becoming a very big unit now.
Nice answer. There are questions around you kept yourself razor focus in manufacturing TVs. Why is that? Why haven't you gotten into manufacturing speakers, laptops, and whatnot? Would
I
you
think
stick to TVs only?
our company has always focused on this product, And so we wanted to,
We
like
lost you
TV
there.
has been a very. Can you hear me now?
We lost you there
Hello.
for about 5 seconds. Let's
Yeah,
stick to
yeah.
that question. It's about manufacturing laptops, speakers, and other things. Why haven't you done it?
So we've always been a company who focus in TVs because TV was changing very quickly. So we started off with black and whites, then we moved to color, then we moved to LCD. Now we are in LEDs. So we wanted to
Mhm.
make sure we never lose the focus in that product. Going forward in future, and we invested more in the backward integration setup so that we could actually support our customers in so that they could compete with the brands in the market,
Hmm.
whether they were brands coming out from other countries or the brands in the Indian space as well. We want to make sure we give them the cost advantage.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that was one of the biggest reasons, and so that's why we kept a focus on this product and went on,
Okay, great,
going backwards and manufacturing
great.
those things. Maybe in future
Okay,
we'll end up in more products.
great. Because now that you're planning to do 1 million TVs a year, right?
Mhm.
Why? How do you want to do tie-ups in the fintech sector? Do you want to do your own financing for TVs for your customers?
If I have to talk about my brands, we always believe in the distribution channel for Daiwa in the offline
Mhm.
space. So we will continue with that. And in terms of the other brands, we will look at the online space as a good segment. So that
Okay, well,
we're
how
going to
about
continue with
financing
that.
these? How about financing this for customers? Do you have finance partners?
We have finance options with
Hmm.
our TVs. So that's available on Amazon as well as in the outlets where the products are present. So that
And
involves
what?
all kind of offers, EMIs, no cost EMIs,
Hmm.
everything.
Okay, and I mean, at what do you think? Nowadays everybody talks about payment. Do you payments and finance and offering finance to customers, cashbacks and all that? Would you want to get into that business at all at some point of time? Because you have the scale.
Uh, mhm.
Do you want to
But
get into
it,
that
see, in
business?
term that is something we have to look what the market does, so we have to do that. And
Hmm.
cashbacks usually work in the online space, and that's what we've experienced.
Hmm.
But both have, it has its own negatives and its positive. But
Okay. Okay.
financing surely is the way to be in future.
Okay. Next question is about your service centers. How many service centers do you have across India? How many of your
We
own and
have
how many are contract?
we have more than 800 plus service centers in
Nice.
India.
Hmm.
Yeah. So we
Company
so
owned?
all these no, these are all service franchisees. They're all our brand authorized service centers,
Hmm.
and but they run on our own CRM. So everything is controlled by us in these service centers.
Okay, nice. So they follow your processes, which is great. Uh,
Absolutely, they have to follow our own softwares, our own CRM which we've created. So everything
mhm.
happens through that.
Interesting.
Nothing is
Next
manual.
question.
Yeah.
Next question. Do you see gaming and TV converging? Like you have a built-in PlayStation or Xbox?
That's a good thing, but that is something nobody has worked on, and I'm not too sure if something like this will come out soon because I think PlayStation is PlayStation. Nothing
Yeah,
beats
so you
that.
want to own one. Do you play
Yes,
PlayStation
absolutely.
or Xbox?
You can use our TVs and they actually give a good experience. And I use
That's a good
because
way
in
of
our house
putting it.
we have our own TVs in the house. We don't
Hmm.
have any other brands TVs because we believe our TVs are pretty good, and
So
we
do
make
you game
sure
on them? Do you game on them, Arjun? Do you play
absolutely,
games? Which
absolutely,
one? PlayStation,
absolutely.
Xbox?
I have a PlayStation 4, so I'm playing FIFA 20 and Tekken. These
Nice,
two are my favorite games. Yeah.
nice. Nice. Arjun, there's a compliment to you, and I don't know how you react to this. This is Vinay who says, Arjun, after the pandemic, nobody will want to go to China and
Yeah.
source product from there. Do you see this as an advantage to your larger business where TV manufacturers, brands globally come to you?
Sure. We are talking to a lot of brands actually, uh,
You
right
are?
now.
Amazing. I hope it
Yeah,
works out
yeah,
for you.
yeah.
Next question is,
Hopefully.
what would you make a customer buy? A Daiwa TV or a Xiaomi TV? Uh,
Of course, the
how should
Daiwa
I decide?
TV.
You know,
we,
tell me one reason
I
why I
think,
have to buy
I,
quickly.
I think because we are make in India and we've seen what's happened in China.
And obviously, guys, I mean, the guys are asking when do we see Diva speakers or other segments of Diva products? No, right? You just want to focus on the TV.
So we have washing machines in Diva.
You have
We've
washing
already
machines?
started
Amazing.
that. Yes,
Hmm.
yes, and we will be coming out with more products. So,
Right.
so,
And
so I
why the
would
washing machine?
request
Why choose
all
a
the
washing machine though?
that was actually we did a survey actually in the market, and that's what we found
Mhm.
out that people were actually wanting us to come out with that product, and that's how we ended up coming with that product.
Okay. A couple of final questions. How does Arjun spend his time during the pandemic? What are you doing while you're working from home? Apart from running a business, of course, you'd find time for something else.
Yes, absolutely. So I am doing everything possible. So in the mornings we are having our own meetings, and in the afternoon I'm spending time with my family. In the evening, I have access to all these workout videos on YouTube, so I'm working out. And at the same time, I'm upgrading my skills as well by doing some course online. So there are a lot of free courses that are available online, so you can actually go there and upgrade your
Mhm.
skills, something which you want to learn. And so I'm doing everything possible to up my
Okay.
skills as well, spend as much time possible with my family.
Bihan says, I bought your TV last month, sir. I'm so happy that it's a super product. That's good. There are some guys saying, sir, do you advise startups in manufacturing? Do you?
Uh, I I would say let government come up with some more benefits
Hmm.
and to start off the manufacturing units.
And then you'll start mentoring people, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. How do they get in touch with you if they have great ideas to
So
be part of your developer system?
they can contact me on LinkedIn or on Facebook or on the social media pages of my brand.
So if it's a good idea, you look at it, right? What if it's an app developer
Yeah,
who has an app and says, I want to host my app on your platform? You're okay with that?
yeah, yeah. Absolutely.
So guys, go to his LinkedIn page and write to him, and obviously he'll have his team looked at. And another question: do you read books?
I do. I do.
What are you reading currently? Quickly.
So I actually have this book in front of me. I am reading this one.
It's reverse, so it's what does it
Yeah,
say? I mean, it's
that's
the camera is reversed, but you want to read
that's
it out to me?
that's I on the bottom line, figuring out the world
Hmm.
of figures. So that's
Okay,
actually
bye.
about the costs. That's by Anil Lamba.
Okay, and it's a good book because
That's actually it,
of costs
it's a
involved.
good book that actually makes you understand about balance sheets and the costs.
Again, do you want to repeat the name of the book? We'll put it out there.
Sorry, hello.
What's the name of the book again? I can hear you.
It's I on the bottom line by Anil Lamba. That's actually a pretty good book.
Eye on the
Yeah,
bottom line, guys. Check that
yeah,
out. And
yeah.
beyond saying that, sir, you have to enter the kitchen appliance market too. And and you have a lot of fans saying you should start quickly and all this, but we'll have to leave you because we're running out of time. You've been wonderful. Thank you, and
Thank you, Vishal.
I'll see
Thank
you
you.
soon. Right? I'll see you in Bangalore real soon.
Definitely, absolutely, very soon, very soon.
See you in a bit. Guys, tomorrow I have the
Okay,
Cloud9
thank you.
founder Rohit with me. We thank Arjun for joining us. We had a lovely time. Bye, Arjun. See you in a bit.
Thank you, Vishal. Bye. Thank you,
Bye.
guys. Thank you.